guys, welcome back to another lit video. It's your girl Lerato period or make sure you guys give this video a big thumbs up, comment on your post questions, and hit the subscribe button down below, guys. And thank you for 100,000 subscribers. I'm just receiving it, guys. And for today's video, we're going to react into Andrew Tate's lawyer is confronted on the investigation. And I'm sorry for the lighting, guys. It's load shedding, power outage, and it's kind of gloomy. That's why I'm wearing a jersey. But without further ado, guys, let's hop into the video.
So, guys, in an interview yesterday, Andrew's new lawyer,
He looks like money,
speaks on
this
the media
man.
trying to bring Tate's words in the past into the case.
There is no reasoning behind encouraging somebody to throttle a woman. There is no reasoning. There is no acceptable reason behind somebody encouraging somebody to coercively control a woman.
No, but I think, again, there's, for instance, when they talk about him being a misogynist, I've certainly heard interviews where he has said he believes men and women are equal. That's not the headlines that you read about. You hear the term misogynist all the time because of, a way of thought that he has about how, men and women might be different.
Let me read you something that I made a note of from the material that I see without even looking for it now on Instagram, since I did a bit of research into him. And for that reason, I'm sure you're doing a lot more research than I have into him as his lawyer. And I would be surprised if you haven't seen stuff of this nature. This is a man you claim to see men and women as equal. Quote, females are the ultimate status symbol. People think I'm running around with these hoes, forgive me, because I like sex. That's nothing to do with the reason why I'm running around with these B word. I got these Bs just so everyone knows who the Don is. Who's got the big booty cuties with their name tattooed on them? Tate, only Tate. If I walk in a club, me and Tristan and 25, forgive me, bitches, who's the richest man in the club? Females are the ultimate status symbol amongst elite players. I go out and F, and I come back to her. I don't care about her.
He doesn't respect women.
That's not cheating. That's exercise. I mean, that isn't a man
Exercise.
who's interested in women's rights, is it?
Sheila, what that sounded to me like was rap lyrics. There are endless
forget rap lyrics. It was him speaking.
But he is a public
said it.
person. But this is the thing. Why are you drawing a difference between something Andrew Tate, a public persona who obviously he's come out and publicly said a lot of what he says is satire.
Yes, but
he's admitted to that. So
But
are we arresting rap artists for
Tina,
their lyrics?
Forgive me, but I'm not interviewing a rap artist's lawyer. I'm interviewing the lawyer of a man who is being held in extended custody in a Romanian prison on charges of people trafficking. I'm not interviewing a rapper's lawyer. I'm interviewing the lawyer of a man who frequently goes online and speaks in this way.
But that's the point. The point is right now that's not what he's jailed for, right? And so it
doesn't help us to think he is a respecter of women's freedoms and rights, does it? That's all I'm asking you.
But I think there's a difference between the things he says publicly as part of his public persona and who he is as a private person. So you're not seeing him talking about his children. You're not seeing the family man side of him. There's specific reason he puts out a certain type of content.
Very bad men have loved their children, Tina.
I'm sorry?
Very bad men in history have loved their children.
Well, that's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is the statements that you're reading or the quotes that you're reading, and again, it's a little hard for me. I don't know the context, but whatever those statements are, if those are statements he made, that is part of a public persona, which again is very different than the private individual.
But we don't know that.
And he's not in jail for those statements, much like you cannot put a rap artist in jail because his lyrics might be offensive and they might talk about, the B word and the hoes and the things that again, may be very misogynistic, but you cannot jail someone for that. And it's a slippery slope
that is
when
true.
we take comments that somebody makes on a platform like TikTok or social media for a certain type of fan base, for a different intent, and then we use those statements against them for unrelated.
Oh, I understand the distinction.
Activity.
I absolutely understand the distinction. But it isn't making your job any easier, is it, Tina? That routinely and very easily
Damn,
find
she
this content.
is coming hard.
Well, it doesn't make my job easy. Anytime there's a high-profile case like this and there's a lot of opinions and the case, in some ways is being tried in the court of public opinion, whether it's statements he's made or leaked information, none of that makes my job easier. But at the end of the day, we have to remember what we're dealing with when we're in a court of law, and that's evidence of
That
a crime.
is true.
And all of the things we're talking about are not evidence of any crime. And it's a very important distinction because, again, it's easy to condemn the Tate brothers, and it's easy to have an opinion on what they're going through because of some of the statements they've made that people do not like. But
that is
put
true
this in
as
the
well.
context of, if this was your son or your brother who was jailed,
A personal
your
card.
focus would not be on, you know, all of the things they may have said during their lifetime. You would be concerned with, does the prosecution have evidence of a crime? And if not, you would want your brother or your son to be home.
I think Tina makes an amazing point. What Andrew and Tristan are apparently being charged for are not things he said in the past.
That
as
is
she
true.
said, they're not a crime, what he said. But as always, the media try find anything to try make the public turn against them. Guys, comment your thoughts down below in the comment section. Please either like, subscribe, and turn on notifications.
I'm not gonna say a lot, only because she said enough and you guys heard enough. Like, you can't arrest them based off of things he says on social media. Like, a lot of people say a lot of controversial things and misogynistic, feminist things. You know, that's social media for you. I mean, we all know how social media is and how social media can get, you know. And I understand why a lot of people would think that he would kidnap and human traffic women because of the way he speaks about women. What Tina said in the beginning about him respecting women, no, he doesn't respect women. The way he talks about women doesn't sound like a person that respects women. And Andrew Tate, if this is a persona for the internet and not this family man, then that's what he's putting out. That's what people are going to think of him. If he puts himself out that way, how are we supposed to perceive him? We're going to perceive him in the way he's putting himself out there. This big, buff man. Obviously, some of the things he says are, you know, they make sense. But some of the things he says, like, it makes you think. It makes you turn your head and be like, now you're crossing the line. So I get where this woman's coming from, and I get where Tina's coming from. And obviously we can't say, oh my gosh, Tate deserves to be behind bars because of what he said. A lot of people say crazy things, but they don't commit crime or murders or human traffic people. That's just my personal opinion. I just feel like Andrew Tate kind of dug himself a grave and he kind of like made this happen to him. I mean, he does go out speaking a lot of crazy controversial things, and I guess he knew this was going to happen. He even said he knew he was going to get arrested. But that's just my opinion. What are your guys' thoughts on everything? I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give this video a big thumbs up, comment your post questions, and hit the subscribe button down below. And it's your girl, and I'm out.